It is the 18th of September, and 48 days remain until the American people elect 1/3 of the United States Senate, the entire House of Representatives, and choose the 47th President of the United States. This is the warning. There is a community in trouble in America, Springfield, Ohio. It is under siege by a blizzard of lies, by demagoguery that has endangered its citizens, placed its people in jeopardy. The schools, the hospitals have been closed because of bomb threats. Here is what the mayor of Springfield, Ohio said when he was directly asked to respond to the proposition advanced by J.D. Vance that Donald Trump's lies and J.D. Vance's lies were a good thing for the people of Springfield because they needed the attention from the national media.
But none of this attention that has been brought upon Springfield, Ohio is helping us. We only have troops, state troopers here now at the level we have because of the threats we've received in the last I think we're going on 5 or 6 days of continuous threats. We were not receiving threats before at this level when we were highlighted on the national stage. Now we have threats.
What is the nature of this debate that is happening about whether Haitians are eating dogs and cats and geese in Springfield, Ohio? It's certainly stupid. On first contact with the assertion, when Trump said it out loud, here was the vice president's completely natural reaction.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Now, let's be honest about something. This is part of Trump's appeal. The shock makes you laugh. At some level, it's entertaining. It's like a bad comedy show that is just good enough to keep drawing you back. Now, the smoke-filled room may not be good for you, but people have bad judgment, so they keep going back for a little bit more and a little bit more. But what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are doing here is not funny in any way, in any shape, or any form, because they're lying. And they are defiant in standing by that lie. And that's dangerous, especially in politicians who flirt and embrace authoritarianism. J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are communicating something with perfect clarity. And it's very simple. They are trying to incite a cohort of white America by saying that they are under siege in a small Ohio town. And if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. By the way, who eats dogs and cats in America? If you own dogs and cats, what are the threats to them being eaten? Well, it's by predators, animals, coyotes. And that's exactly and precisely what J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are saying, that Springfield, Ohio is under siege by animals, subhumans, running amok. Now, the conservative media in America used to be serious, used to be principled, and filled with people like, say, George Will. It's not that anymore in the slightest. It has become the home base for a collection of rottenness and nut jobs that literally beggars description. The epicenter of so much of the rottenness in the conservative media, the writers, the thinkers who celebrated themselves and each other as some type of intellectual luminaries over the last 30 years, has long been the National Review. Now, William Buckley, the original founder and editor of National Review, sought to purge the conservative movement of its cranks and weirdos. Though Buckley himself could never shed the racism which has always anchored the conservative movement and has always been embedded in the DNA of the National Review. Whether it was the opposition to desegregation in the name of states' rights, William F. Buckley's National Review embraced the concept of equality for all Americans, let's just say, late in the day. Buckley eventually turned over the National Review to a man named Rich Lowry. Now, Rich Lowry sat down with Megyn Kelly.
The police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants, Haitian migrants.
Now, in the aftermath, of course, Megyn Kelly and all of the defenders have rushed forward and said, how dare you think that he may have said what you just heard? Nobody should be surprised that we now see the first polling indicating the American people in a majority are in favor of a mass deportation regimen to evict tens of millions of people. Now, frankly, I don't care what the polling says. The American people in their aggregate may not appreciate the danger that that position puts all of us in. Is Trump and Vance alleging Haitians eating pets and 46% of the country believing it? Is it a small thing, a funny thing, a big thing, a serious thing, a dangerous thing? What happens next is the danger. And what we see is an escalating incoherence, an escalating violence of rhetoric, an escalating imagination used for division, used for incitement, used for hatred by J.D. Vance. This line about what the media owes the people of Springfield is weapons-grade demagoguery.
You say that you have a responsibility to share what your constituents tell you, but don't you also have a responsibility to fact-check them first?
Well, I think the media has a responsibility to fact-check the residents of Springfield, not lie about them.
The Haitians eating pets. Is it a distraction? A small story? Medium? Big? It's as big as it gets. Because if a political leader can convince you that Haitians are eating pets in Springfield, Ohio, when they're not, they can make you believe anything. And if they can make you believe anything, history teaches they can make you kill anyone. Right now, as we speak, there is a concerted effort out of this rotten conservative media to silence the Democratic campaign, to back Vice President Harris off of the most important point in the race, which is how un-American Trump and Vance are. It's about how fascist their rhetoric is, how dangerous it is. Donald Trump incited an insurrection. He is a man of violence, purveyor of violence, a purveyor of lies, a purveyor of conspiracies. Their ally, Robert Kennedy, is a purveyor of insanity. Their cause is insanity for the sake of their power. What you are witnessing is an organized conspiracy to take power from you, to put it into the hands of a small cabal who will take whatever they can like locusts for as long as they can. The terrible news is, once they get in there, getting them out requires a cost and a sacrifice that is far beyond the effort required to prevent them from taking power in the first place. And that's the question at hand 49 days from now. It's a big deal what's happening in Springfield, Ohio. Small town, a university town, is in big trouble because it's under attack and it's under siege from the Republican candidate for president and his running mate, who sickeningly is the U.S. senator from the state and the city that he's attacking. And these people want the nuclear football. They want to have command and control of the U.S. military. They want to author the next decade of the 21st century for this nation and the world. No thanks. Any right-minded person who can't see the craziness of this has allowed themselves to be deceived and manipulated, to be blinded and controlled. And they have 49 days to snap the fuck out of it before this country heads down a road to catastrophe from which there will be no rescue. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. And I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.